Are back in the Camp Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Pete Souza joins the show. Pete Souza of the Pete Souza Show at ESPN and Inside the 12 and everything.
I happily am joining the show. I am very excited. This was a topic I wanted to talk about on my show earlier today, but we ran out of real estate. So
as you often do, man, there's too much going on the Pete Souza Show in the best kind of way.
Going on in the sports world. We can do. You and I should do another whole sports media podcast, like just one, like a one-off. Because I got to tell you, there's no more off season. Like I know it's going to get slower in July. I understand all that, but like, dude, it's a different day now, man. It really is.
It is much like the college sports world itself, but
yeah.
Pete, why I usually bring you on here is to gossip. Like this is the peanut gallery with Pete Souza, Cam Stewart.
I love this because Christy, my fiance, she definitely doesn't watch your show, so we can talk now.
Good, let loose, man.
Yeah. Oh no, I think Linda Holliday's hot, dude, and
yeah,
I'm like hardcore team Linda Holiday. In fact, hot take to start, I would take her over Jordon Hudson right now.
I think I would too. I would feel more comfortable with it, even though I'm only 4 years older than Jordon Hudson. Is that weird? Is that a mark on our society a little bit? Yeah, I mean, mostly because she's not insane.
Dude, what's up with Jordan? So what are we going to talk about today?
All right, so so obviously the big news that I think a lot of people found out this week is that apparently, allegedly, they're engaged to be married, and they're going to be married in Boston around Christmas time. I don't really care about that. Like, it's already weird enough anyway, but the fact they're getting married, like, yeah, that's kind of the next step after dating. It's all weird to begin with. But the New York Times has come out with quite a bit this week about how this affected the Patriots in the last year that Belichick was there in 2023. There's reports that he told Jordan to wear red pants when she was at training camp so that he could find her in the crowd pretty easily. And that when the team would stay at a local hotel before a home game, that she would come in and stay the night with Bill, which for a lot of people, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, he's the coach. But when we've seen 25 years of eliminate distractions, ignore the noise, what do you think they're staying at a Foxborough area hotel for? To eliminate distractions. And here he's banging this 22-year-old at the time. Yeah.
2001, at this point, 2002, Bill Belichick gave up his hotel room in New Orleans for Lawyer Malloy, who was, bitching about the size of his room or whatever.
He got Lawyer Malloy back later, by the way. Yeah.
What'd you say?
He got Lawyer Malloy back later. They got even. He cut him 5 days before season.
But he hooked up one of his players.
Yeah.
This Bill Belichick can't give up his room because he's got this hottie-toddy in his ear saying, like, Bill, we're not giving up our room to Lawyer. Like, it's not even close to as big. No way. We're staying here. And he's like, oh, well, all right, I'll tell
I
Lawyer.
guess so. Tell Lawyer Malloy.
Like, seriously, that's where we are because we've all been, and I harken back to that, we've all been in these toxic relationships. This is not a normal relationship, regardless of how old they are. It's toxic, dude. The report coming out of People magazine about when Jordon Hudson showed up at a Christmas party on Nantucket in December and was asked to leave.
Yeah.
Like, Bill wasn't even there, dude.
It's so weird. And there are people who will poke holes at this being like, oh, it's their personal life. I mean, first off, Bill Belichick's a celebrity. Like, that's how the world works. And to your point about the toxicity of it, is there any other coach in the league who their significant other? Is there any other, coach or even an athlete, I would say, at this level whose significant other gets in on everything? Like, every single thing Bill is doing now has to do with Jordon Hudson, right?
Doug Christie, his wife, was a legendary ball breaker, was always would go on the road with the Kings and stay at the team hotel. When I was in Charlotte working for the Bobcats, she was a shoot-around. Like, what? So she was a legend as far as that was concerned. Jackie Christie.
And it's still, it's bizarre, right? And everything
dude,
Bill.
That was crazy.
Everything Bill is doing now, the book has a special thanks to Jordon Hudson. When he's at practice, there's Jordon Hudson in this meticulous outfit that she's wearing and trying to mic up Bill. Or, as soon as he goes to UNC and accepts the job, she's in a North Carolina hoodie, Air Jordan, trying to get a sponsorship deal from Nike. Every single thing the guy does, she is right there. He can't do an interview without her glaring from the shadows. That's what's weird about this. I don't even know that there's an athlete that we have at this point that has a significant other like that. It's just, this is really weird. Besides, to your point, besides the age gap, which is already weird enough.
Yes.
Legal, but fucking weird. Besides that, the fact that she is in every single thing this guy does for the most famous football coach of all time is way beyond bizarre. And now you see that it might have to do with the end of his tenure as the greatest coach of all time with the best dynasty in NFL history.
All right, catch me up on that.
So all this is coming about in the 2023 season, which is obviously Bill's last year. This is where all the, staying at the hotel, wearing the red pants. And all of a sudden, they have their worst season in the Belichick era, and it's all falling apart. And so for this to come out later, as here's where Jordon Hudson starts inserting herself into everything, that's getting Patriots fans really pissed of seriously, after all that, after all the culture setting, the championship winning, it's a 22-year-old that's going to bring this whole thing down, that's going to bring down Bill Belichick, and Camelot's going to crumble here. Could you imagine, Pete, if one of his players was telling player's girlfriend to wear red pants in the stands at the training camp? He would eat them for lunch in the film room. He would rip them 10 ways to Sunday. But Bill's out here doing it. This makes for a way more bizarre ending to Belichick's tenure in New England than we already thought it was.
So are you telling me that that expedited his exit out of New England?
Yes, in a weird way, because clearly he became a different person. This job, the priorities were not what they were before. His whole thing was ignoring the noise, do your job, don't listen to outside, no distractions, none of that. So his priorities then get messed up. And I just wonder how much the people behind the scenes with New England knew about it. Knew how crazy this was getting. And again, they were also 4-13. They had no quarterback. The time was probably coming anyway. But who knows how that affected the legendary Bill Belichick's process.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you, it affected it.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding. And I think it will affect him even more so now. I believe he miscalculated the family vibe going into this possible, going into this season at North Carolina, in a sense, I'm Coach Belichick. This is my other half, right? We're kind of a family, but she ain't Terry Saban, dude. It's totally different. No. And it's the exact opposite of that, really. But I do believe in going to North Carolina, I think that's what he was trying to achieve. If you think about the rollout of the two of them, right? The day he was hired, the press conference, she's always there with him in Carolina blue. And a lot of that, those are college football coaches. That's how they roll, dude. With recruiting, it's a family. I want you to meet my wife. She's going to make sure that you never go hungry or whatever. She's always going to know
image, charisma, and all that. Yeah. That's all part.
And it was a gross miscalculation. And I truly, it's weird, dude. I'm going to be totally unfiltered like I always am here. But I do enjoy the gossip of it because I can't believe it. I can't look away, dude. I just can't.
It's a car crash.
I'm spellbound. At the same time, I am ready for some goddamn football. Let me see how I've never been more excited to see a Bill Belichick team take the field in a fall. I really haven't been. I know you have been. Yeah. But what is this going to look like, dude? What is this going to look like? Where will she be? What if they suck?
Which they very well could, by the way. They very well could suck year one.
He may not coach a game. I mean, that's on the table.
Yeah, and Carolina needs to keep coming with statements about how no, we actually like Jordan. She's no problem. We'll keep her around. They've made like 4 statements about that. I want to go back to your original point of, the whole family thing and being able to go to Carolina and kind of roll this thing out. Bill and Jordan, not just the Belichick experience. Because I'll take you back, Belichick interviewed for at least one NFL job last year, the Falcons, that we heard about. And we also heard rumors later on that Arthur Blank went to Robert Kraft and, said, asked him about working with Belichick. And apparently the answer wasn't very positive. Now we know that he and Kraft have a bit of a rift, Belichick and Kraft. Kraft has had rifts with head coaches before. He's been petty about former head coaches before. But now,
Parcells of note.
Hugely of note, yeah. But now you have to wonder, Pete, if that phone call went something like, Arthur, he's got this woman with him now, and a lot of the coaches didn't like this. If priorities were weird, she's really trying to get into a lot of his business and all this. And I wonder now, was she a part of that conversation? Was this something that again, maybe not the main reason the Patriots fire him, mutually part ways, but say hey, there's just something you might want to do your due diligence on here.
Well, and that could lead to the vigor with which Bill Belichick seemingly detests Bob Kraft now.
Right. And because, by the way, real quick pause. I mean, I don't even know why there needed to be 2 interviews with Bill Belichick. You've seen the resume. We know everything about Bill Belichick, except for that Jordon Hudson part. It's the only thing we didn't know about him at that point last year. So that would make some sense. But yes, back to this bitterness, because it's certainly there. Big time.
But I think that could have only fueled it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, now you're going to get in the way of me getting a fucking job? Yeah. That is a big deal. You can fire me and usher me out, but once you start, especially, it's not like Pete Souza getting his position removed by the Philadelphia 76ers when he was an active alcohol and drug addiction, okay? Barely showing up to work.
Yeah.
We got Bill Belichick racking up Super Bowl trophies. The guy did a lot right by Bob Kraft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so Kraft can't give him a positive recommendation? Just don't sink me, dude. I'm still on your side with that part. I still don't think Kraft should be bashing him to the point where it costs him a job. No, I don't think so either. I think
6 Super Bowls.
I think that's pretty screwed up. But
because he could have been look, Bill was never easy to deal with.
Yeah.
But shit, man, we won a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. If you want to win, Arthur, this is a risk that you're going to have to take. But instead, it probably became that.
How old is Belichick?
72, 73?
I mean, look, dude. I mean, I can tell you whatever. It could be some early onset of whatever. I mean, he could be – look, I'm just saying, there could be some merit to that. This – if I was his family, which I'm sure they are freaking out, I would be very I have a friend in Philadelphia, and he just went through a similar situation. His mother passed away, and his father started to date one of a younger trainer, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they moved in together, and this guy's 70. This woman, not quite the age gap, but she's in her.
I thought you were going to say
30s.
Not quite the age. Be oh, she's 20.
Yeah,
no,
Bill is
okay.
Out of control. He's really going for it. But no, it is so divisive within a family. Because especially when you've got families with a lot of money.
Yes, and then marriage, that's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and now she's a kept woman now. He's quote unquote doing right by her, which means you know what I mean? Because if he drops dead tomorrow, who knows? I mean, outside of her real estate empire, which apparently is pretty nice.
Pretty Belichick, really, but yeah.
Yeah, but what does she have? So there's just a lot of there's a lot to be concerned about here, and I don't want to be because I can find humor in anything, but I hope it's not serious. I hope he's just a dude making a shitty decision like we all have with women.
Yeah,
myself included, repeat offender. So I'm not standing in judgment of him so much as I am just watching along cautiously. I hope this isn't what it might be, you know?
God, it's weird. That's Pete Souza. Pete, we're not done with you yet. That's Pete Souza. I'm Cam Stewart, host of the Cam Show. Guys, get in the comments section. Let us know what you think about this if you haven't already said it. This Bill Belichick, Jordon Hudson thing, and now how it relates to the Patriots. Let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well.